He was just another teenager editing Fortnite montages in his bedroom. Hours spent gaming, cutting clips, and adding music to make them feel alive. For most kids, it was just a hobby. But for David Anthony Burke, it became the beginning of something much bigger. Eventually, his music left the world of gaming behind and entered the playlists of millions. TikTok trends carried his songs across the globe. His voice, soft, fragile but haunting, became the soundtrack to Heartbreak for an entire generation. This is the story of David, a boy from Queens who rose to fame almost overnight, a rising star, celebrated for lyrics that blended melancholy with beauty, and now a man surrounded by one of the darkest scandals in modern music. His career had only just begun. He had just launched his first world tour. Fans filled venues to sing along with him, believing they were witnessing the birth of a new legend. But just as his star was rising, his name was suddenly tied to something far darker than music. David Burke was born in 2005 in Queens, New York. His early childhood was steeped in gospel and church sounds. Sundays meant hymns, choirs, and voices raised in harmony. It gave him his first sense of melody, his first exposure to the emotional power of music. But like many kids of his generation, his true obsession wasn't with music at first. It was with video games. At 13, his family relocated to Houston, Texas. The move gave him a fresh start. He was homeschooled after 7th grade, which gave him endless hours of free time, and he spent them playing Fortnite. Like so many teenagers, Fortnite was his world. But David didn't just play, he created. He recorded highlight reels, edited montage videos, and uploaded them online. And as every creator knows, music is the key to a good montage. There was only one problem: copyright. Popular songs couldn't be used without risking his videos being taken down. For most kids, this would have been a deal breaker. But David wasn't like most kids. Instead of giving up, he made his own music. At first, it was a quick fix, a way to soundtrack his clips. But soon, people noticed. His voice, emotional, vulnerable, haunting, drew more attention than the gameplay. His music was no longer the background. It was the main attraction. By 2022, his life had changed forever. His track Romantic Homicide went viral on TikTok. Millions of streams, millions of edits. The lyrics were simple but devastating. In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. It captured a kind of numb heartbreak that felt too real for millions of teenagers online. Soon after came Here With Me. Where Romantic Homicide was cold and detached, Here With Me was tender and full of longing. Its lyrics about staying close, about growing old together, turned into wedding edits, relationship videos, and countless montages. Together, these two songs became the pillars of his career. The industry moved quickly. He signed with Darkroom and Interscope, the same powerhouse label behind Billie Eilish. He wasn't just another TikTok artist anymore. He was one of the most important new voices of his generation. By 2023, he was touring. By 2024, he had released EPs that showcased his range. And in 2025, he finally launched his first full-length studio album, Withered. Alongside it, he began his long-awaited world tour. Fans were ecstatic, venues filled with voices screaming his lyrics back at him. For so many, it was the culmination of years of connection. A boy who once made Fortnite montages in his bedroom was now leading crowds in song. His career was exploding. But just as his world tour was kicking off, his name suddenly became tied to a story darker than anyone could have imagined. On September 8, 2025, Los Angeles police were called about an abandoned Tesla parked on a quiet street in the Hollywood Hills. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Abandoned cars aren't rare in Los Angeles. The Tesla was towed to an impound lot. But days later, during a routine inspection, workers made a gruesome discovery. Inside the front trunk, the frunk was a body, decomposed, wrapped in plastic. Early reports suggested possible dismemberment. And the car, registered to David Anthony Burke. To the world, he was known as David. The remains were later identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Celeste had gone missing in April 2024, when she was just 13 years old. For over a year, her case had gone cold, until now. The discovery sent shockwaves through the internet, not only because of the horrifying details, but because of the name, Celeste. Fans had already heard that name before. Online detectives immediately began digging. In his Discord server, old conversations resurfaced. Moderators and friends casually mentioned his girlfriend at the time. "Yeah, he has a GF. Her name is Celeste," one wrote. Screenshots appeared of late-night video calls between David and a girl who looked strikingly similar. To his community, she wasn't a secret. She was known. Some fans claimed they had been together since 2022. Others believed they broke up in 2024, the very same year Celeste disappeared. On Reddit, old threads resurfaced. One user claimed their friend S' sister from Lake Elsinore, the same town Celeste was from, had run away and was last seen with David. Another post suggested darker rumors, hinting that she was being exploited. These posts, written long before the Tesla discovery, were now treated like warnings hiding in plain sight. And then came the music. In 2022, long before Celeste disappeared, David had released a song with her name as the title Celeste. At the time, fans heard it as a love song, but the lyrics, in hindsight, sound much more sinister. "Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest, smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." He didn't just sing about love, he sang about obsession, about possession, about depression. One chilling line stood out to fans: "I want to make you feel suicidal." Back then, it was brushed off as artistic melodrama, but after the discovery of Celeste's body in his car, fans began treating it like a confession. Adding to the unease was an old tweet from 2022. In it, David wrote about receiving a message from someone saying they wanted to be with their mom and sister again, but circumstances wouldn't allow it. Fans speculated, was this about Celeste? Soon, his entire discography was under a microscope. Romantic Homicide was no longer just a song about heartbreak. The lyric, "In the back of my mind, you died and I didn't even cry," now felt far too literal. "Here with me," once a gentle love song, sounded eerie with its desperate plea to stay forever. Even songs like "This Is How It Feels," describing suffocation and despair, were treated as evidence. And then came the tattoos. Celeste's family confirmed that she had a tattoo of the word "shh" on her index finger. A tattoo identical to the one on David's finger. It became one of the details used to confirm her remains. For fans, the coincidence was too much to ignore. The fallout was immediate. Kali Uchis pulled her collaboration with him from streaming platforms. Tour dates were cancelled. Venues issued statements. His label remained silent. Fans, meanwhile, were split in two. Some insisted he was innocent, that a car registration doesn't equal guilt, that lyrics are metaphors, not confessions, that coincidences happen. Others believed the story was already written, that the signs were all there, that the lyrics, the screenshots, and the tattoos had been telling the truth all along. And through it all, David stayed silent. So where does that leave us? Right now, the investigation is ongoing. The medical examiner has not released a cause of death. Police have not charged David with anything. It's possible the Tesla was stolen or borrowed. It's possible the connections are tragic coincidences. But public opinion doesn't wait. For many, the damage is already done. This case forces us to ask questions bigger than just one artist. How much of art is metaphor, and how much is confession? Should we take lyrics literally? Or is this a tragic story that just happens to overlap with his music in disturbing ways? For David, the timing could not have been worse. He had just launched his first world tour, the dream every young artist chases, but instead of headlines about his music, the news was filled with images of an abandoned Tesla, police tape, and the name of a missing teenage girl. From Fortnite montages to viral heartbreak anthems to the center of a homicide investigation, the rise and fall of David is one of the most shocking stories in modern music. Is he an innocent artist caught in a nightmare beyond his control? Or is there something darker hiding in the lyrics that once comforted millions? For now, the truth remains hidden, and until it comes to light, the world will keep searching, listening, and waiting for answers.